How is everyone doing today? And in this video, we are going to be talking about our first limited character for version 2.5. I think it's been so many versions and I literally can't keep track of them, but we're talking about Feixiao today. And with Feixiao, she honestly brings a lot of interesting aspects to her kit that may or may not help her in some cases, just because although they are interesting, I do think when it comes to Feixiao being a hunt character and seemingly her being very single target is going to be a very scary thing to have, especially when a lot of the content in the game is multi-target based when it comes to Apocalyptic Shadow, when it comes to Pure Fiction, and even MOC at times has an abundance of characters on the field. So if you're just doing single target damage, we hope it's going to hurt a lot. But talking about Feixiao, we're going to be looking over a kit and also a lot of interesting things when it comes to her versus a lot of the other characters in the game, like some of the other DPSs and also some of the characters that she might work with that are going to be very interesting to look at. Now, one thing I do want to talk about with Feixiao is she is going to be hunt wind, and she is going to be primarily single target for basically all of her abilities, her skill, her basic, her own follow-up, which is a really cool thing that she has, and also the ultimate. Now, the thing that is cool about this is that her ultimate works in the same way that Acheron works, which is a really cool thing. I think a lot of characters ditching the energy mechanic is a really cool thing for a lot of the meta, just because this means that they can infinitely get better as more teammates come out. Someone like Acheron is getting so much praise and is almost one of the best units to get in the game for sure, because she doesn't have energy and because she doesn't have to rely on someone like Tingyun or any other character to provide her with her ultimate. Rather, her whole team works to get her ultimate, and that's what makes her so strong. The same thing is going to go for Feixiao. Feixiao is also going to be getting stacks for however many characters do an attack. And this is a very strong thing. Not only is this going to help out not only characters that are able to advance forward themselves, but it also allows characters in the follow-up archetype to get another big buff for no reason. So you can think of it in a way where Feixiao is actually a follow-up catalyst, where she's kind of basically building up all her energy as these follow-ups are coming out. Let's say you have Topaz and Numbi on the field. Topaz is doing her attack, that's one stack. Numbi comes in, that's another stack. Let's say you have the ultimate and that's another stack because Numbi's coming right back up again. So that's 3 stacks out of however many it takes to get her ultimate. I don't think I saw how much it actually was, but that's 3 stacks if she's going to do her attack, which is a really cool thing to know that we are getting characters like this. And looking at other characters in the game that potentially could do some massive work when it comes to how they work versus how Feixiao is going to be in the game, we also have someone like March 7th, who is going to be a really good teammate for someone like Feixiao, because as you may know, March 7th has 3 different ways to attack. Her regular basic, she also is attached to whatever character you want to do, so this is going to be very interesting to look at. And not only that, she has a random follow-up, which is a really good thing for Feixiao's attack counter. And not only that, a advance forward when she hits a certain amount of stacks, plus her ultimate. So she actually has a numerous amount of ways to be able to build up Feixiao's attack counter, which is going to only make her very strong. I'm 100% sure even with characters like Mose also coming out and Mose being able to do the same thing in regards to being able to follow up attack on top of an enemy after they do their attacks, also a really good thing for Feixiao. Feixiao honestly looks like she's going to be in the realm of Acheron. We don't know if it's going to be better, we don't know if it's going to be worse, or we don't know if they're going to be at a straight tie. That will be for when we actually get to showcase her out. But I do think because she is ditching this energy mechanic, or the energy mechanic that we've had since the start of Star Rail, is going to be a very big thing for Feixiao. Certainly a lot of the DPSs, when we're talking about something like Acheron, when we're talking about Feixiao, these guys are almost unrivaled potential when it comes to everybody else in the game. Because although energy is something that everybody is binded to besides these 2 characters, I do think ditching it is a really crazy thing, because this allows for team play to be expanded beyond belief. When it comes to having energy on a team, it always comes to how many times can I take an action? How many times can I get this certain thing done? And this kind of restricts the team and makes it so that it's a little bit harder to add in a few extra bumps of damage, add in a few extra bumps of utility when you're so binded to these other characters to help you out get your ultimate. But with somebody like Feixiao, somebody like Acheron, you don't have to worry about that, because your whole team is your ultimate and your whole team is going to help you get to that point. So no matter how you get to it, there's going to be a lot of newer characters that A, may have advanced forward, so this might help out Feixiao. A might be able to do multiple attacks, or B or C, being able to do follow-ups which count as attacks to help out someone like Feixiao in order to get her ultimate. And that's going to be the main play of her game for the most part, is how do we get Feixiao to her ultimate in a similar way that Acheron does the same thing. How many debuffs can I get inflicted before it's time for me to do my big ultimate? And I think that's a really big thing. Now, besides talking about some of the characters and also the utility that comes with their kit in regards to looking at someone like Feixiao and how she works with follow-up, how she's going to be a big boost to that archetype as well, how she's going to be a very big thing for that. I'm very excited to see how follow-up is getting more and more buffs as time has gone by. And although Feixiao might not be a full-on follow-up centered unit, she is one of the catalysts, or one of the big booms that you're gonna get for the follow-up team because of how it works. You get more attacks off with follow-ups, then Feixiao basically says thank you so much for all those attacks, I'm gonna go ahead and nuke the enemy, which I'm pretty sure she's gonna do some absolutely devastating damage because she is going to be single target, versus something like how Acheron's going to be, where she has her full stage hitting ultimate where she's nuking that way. So I'm pretty sure if somebody's getting hit with that ultimate on Feixiao, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to die. But going on with talking about Feixiao and how Acheron are, I do want to note that when looking at Feixiao, this is going to be a little tricky. I do think, although she's going to be very strong in her own right, when it comes to the multiple game modes coming out, or the multiple game modes in game right now, her being only single target is going to be a factor of scariness, I guess you could say. Just because looking at how Feixiao works, if she's only single target, it's going to take a little bit longer to complete certain things. And I know it, for the most part, 0 cycles are not everyone's way of play. 1 cycles or even 2 cycles might not be everyone's way of play. I do think generally she should be able to clear MOC very easily. I mean, one of the easiest ones for sure, being a top tier unit nonetheless. But when it comes to Apocalyptic Shadow, when it comes to Pure Fiction, this is where I'm a little scared, because these are a little bit more intensive of the enemies that are on the field. This is a little bit more intensive when it comes to having to deal with so many of them for a certain amount of time. And I don't think Feixiao is probably going to work in Pure Fiction just because of her single target nature. And I also don't think that it's possible that she may work in Apocalyptic Shadow. There's just a lot of things that do scare me with her single target nature, because right now that isn't really how the game is being played right now. We have a lot of AoE in the game, especially when it comes to characters like Firefly, who's able to do their AoE break. We have characters like Acheron, who's doing full stage damage. We have the assortment of damage coming from someone like Follow-up with Dr. Ratio being able to split their damage, same with Topaz and Numby. We have a lot of different characters right now that are doing pretty good and doing multi-target damage. That's pretty much the way of the game at the current moment, where you're able to do a fat ton of damage to a bunch of different characters all at the same time. And realistically, looking at Feixiao, it's going to be a little bit harder for her to get her job done if she's not able to take out enemies as quickly as she's able to target one enemy, I guess you could say. So she has to be able to throw out some absolute nukes, being able to one-shot enemies, guaranteed for the most part, to be able to get a crap ton of value. But I'm pretty sure they are going to make her nuke. She seems to be a top tier unit, or not a top tier unit, but a very important unit, not only going forward into the future with her investment potential with possible teammates coming up later on down the line, but I also do think that she's going to be in the same realm as Acheron, or at least in that nature of where Acheron's at. I just then genuinely believe that these energy ridden characters, or the characters that don't have energy bars, are a super big breed of DPSs, or a super big breed of characters that aren't constrained to normal game mechanics, which is a pretty cool thing for the most part. I do think Feixiao is going to be a really nice character. I do think she's going to have a really bright future going into every other character that we're going to see later down the line. I know we also have Lingsha, which I will have a video talking about her as well, but I definitely, and I mean definitely, need to talk about all the reruns and all of the characters and their updated value, their updated meta aspect of their kits, and everything in between. There's just so much going on in this patch, which is a really cool thing. I do think overall, really cool character. Feixiao looks really nice. I can't wait to play her. Can't wait to use her. She looks really cool. But other than that, that's pretty much it when it comes to this video in talking about Feixiao. I do think she's going to be very strong. I do think she's going to be in that same realm of Acheron. I am just a little bit worried on the single target nature of her kit. But with all that she's able to do, with all that she's able to put into her kit in regards to not having energy, with being able to do her own follow-up attacks and being able to take use of everyone's own attacks. Is going to be a big step up from what she's able to do. But other than that, that's probably going to be it. See y'all guys in the next one. Peace.